The archetypal monomyth of the hero's journey within Christianity, or more specifically Eastern Christianity, orthodoxy, is that of attaining theosis, which means the gradual steps of a man's unification with God, theosis. Theosis is considered achievable only through the synergy of human activity with God's word, and it is typically understood as a practice of transformation, very similar to that of the hero's journey described by Joseph Campbell within archetypal mythology. The symbolic representation of theosis in orthodoxy is presented in many different ways, but one is that through the icon of the ladder of divine ascent, which shows monks ascending and falling from the ladder to Jesus. Each 30 steps, which are to represent 30 years, or should be 33 years of his age, Jesus Christ, of the ladder to heaven, represents a virtue and principle required for the monk to reach complete union with Christ, such as the avoidance of the traps within asceticism, unmanly cowardice, freedom from anger and meekness, renunciation of the world, as usual with people within asceticism, and discernment with God, etc., etc. As you can tell, there are many interesting perennial, you could say, crossovers between the Eastern Christian monks and the Buddhist monks of asceticism, which is why the hero's journey is so profound in its many archetypal formations within comparative religion. A fundamental aspect of the hero's journey is the necessity for the individual to confront the complete unknown with acceptance and courage. It is a very common theme within the archetype of the hero's journey, as it is the fundamental aspect which allows for personal transformation and growth. It needs to be done. Confronting the personal individual, confronting the unknown is necessary. It's the catalyst for change. In Christian teachings, this, I think, is represented through the self-initiation of what is called the dark night of the soul. Not only is it a fundamental part within theosis, but it perfectly represents the personal acceptance of the unknown or dark night that is required from the individual to allow themselves to transform and grow, inevitably reaching further union with God, theosis. If the individual does not go through a dark night of the soul, then purification and rebirth of the spirit, as it is believed, will not be attained. The process of not letting go of one's arrogance and pride upon this earth in relation or non-relation with God will hold them back from progressing not only on their own hero's journey, but also on their journey of maturity towards God himself, which I believe is the ultimate conclusion of the hero's journey, is to find union with God. Even when Jesus is in the Garden of Gethsemane, for example, he goes through a dark night of the soul with his sorrows and his distress in relation to God's plan in which is being called upon him to be crucified. And it is in this sense that Jesus goes through some sort of dark night, or the beginning of stepping into the unknown and the abyss, of which he has to go on the journey to be crucified. And then the resurrection period happens, which is also a fundamental theme within the hero's journey, because it's an archetypal function within the life of the individual who wants to attain union with God. The ultimate goal within Christianity is not to appease God, like in many other religions and previous religions, but to instead be in communion with God, to accept God into our lives and be in a union with him, which thus reaps us the rewards of theosis itself, which is the ultimate goal of the hero's journey, I believe. To have integrity and to live upon this earth with the knowledge of the truth, and to reap forth what the truth brings us in this life through God. Because to get to be in union with God, you have to go through a journey. You have to go through a personal spiritual journey of tribulation, distress, contradiction, questioning, existentialism. You have to go through these things physically and mentally to become in union with God, which is theosis. I believe that the hero's journey is a complete representation of that in its ultimate conclusion, if you could say so. So the hero's journey is thus the process of theosis, within and through Christ, I believe. The process of finding union with God, and only in finding union with God are we truly transformed into better, stronger, more mature and discerning people of this world. Now, if you feel like you resonate with this message of the hero's journey, and you feel like you are being in some sense initiated into one through a call of an adventure, or through the call of an adventure within your own life, and you're finding some sort of difficulty within this when it comes to processing the path in which you are on or need to find, and you're dealing with problems like struggling with discipline, time management, anxiety, working through bad habits, trying to work through and break the chains of procrastination and things like this, then book in a free one-on-one discovery call with me down below. You'll find a link to my website where you can book in a call at any time you wish is most suitable for you, and we can see how we can work together through a coaching system or mentorship system that I've applied with many other individuals that I've worked with, that you can see on my website, and we can see where we can work with each other from there and help each other out, because it's truly something that I wish to try and do the most with when it comes to people on a professional level, is to really merge the usefulness and the practicality of psychology, but also the insight and wisdom that comes from spirituality, things like religion, Christianity. Merge those two things together to really help people on their path when it comes to things fundamentally like procrastination and discipline. So if you are interested in that, make sure to book in a free call with me down below, and we can get going on that as soon as possible. So thanks for watching, guys, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, comment your thoughts down below, and I'll speak to you in the next one.